Choco choke. You know what it is. Yo, y'all niggas better stay DL. Down low. Stop flossing, man.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Yvette Michele. You might remember me from the 90s. I had a few hits. Me and Funkmaster Flex back in the day, Every Day and Every Night. I'm Not Feeling You. I featured on a couple of hot rappers' hooks. So, you know, I'm from the golden era. I need to find a jacket for the show. I think I should wear a jacket, right?
Yeah.
Instead of, let's look in here. Okay, this is new. Okay. Yes, this is what I like. It reminds me of New York. Now this feels like New York. Okay, which one? This is cute, but I think this is too cash. That might be too heavy for the stage. Maybe more like a sweater or something. Okay, those are nice, the vests. Let's try that on. What's up, everybody? This is your girl, Yvette Michele. We all have a story to tell and lessons to learn, and this is my story.
Choke, no joke. Yeah. It's choke, no joke. Let's go.
If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
How old am I? Well, if y'all are doing the math, you'll know I'm in the 50-plus club. I just made it.
All right, and so where are you from originally?
I'm from the Bronx, New York. Born in Brooklyn, raised in the Bronx and Harlem. So New York City.
All right. As a youth, how would you say your upbringing was? Poor, middle class, or rich?
I would say middle class. Middle class. Both my parents had city jobs. So if you live in New York City and your one parent works for the state, the other one works for the city, you get the perks, the steady salary. I went to dance school. I went to private school. I had a good life. I had a good upbringing. I feel like they did their job, you know.
So I guess you answered that question. You grew up in a single or co-parenting home?
Co-parenting. It wasn't my natural father, so I have to give props to my stepdad. He was like my real blood because he was there from day one, and I never knew the difference. So, you know, shout out to all the men that take care of kids that's not theirs.
So when you say he was from day one, you never got to meet your real father?
I've never met my real father. My mother separated from my natural father when I was in the womb, and when she had me, she met him within a month or two of my birth through friends, and the rest was history.
So have you ever been curious?
I have. And actually, I met a sister through Ancestry.com who is on my natural father's side. I've met his relatives. They've told me stories, but I've never laid eyes on him physically.
Is he still alive?
No, he's passed on.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's tough. It's an open hole, you know, you wonder. But at the end of the day, I had a full family, and I didn't really miss it.
What do you, how would you feel your life would have been different if you would have met your biological father?
In hindsight, knowing what I know about my family on that side, I probably would have been a little more brolic in the streets because I had mad cousins that I didn't know about. You know, I was an only child, so to speak, so I was my own backup. If I had known that I had a large network in Harlem, I probably would have been a lot more social, a lot more into stuff. I probably would have had a lot more confidence and been bolder. Who knows? But I was a church girl, quiet, you know. I was raised by a woman from the South who was conservative, and she wasn't in them streets like that. So anything that I got that was cultural, I had to get on my own.
Did your mother have any more children after you?
She did. I have a younger brother, and that's the product of the marriage with my stepdad and her. And so, yeah, it was just the four of us.
Okay, cool.
For a long time.
So what did you think that you would be as a kid?
I wanted to be a beautician and a nurse as a kid. My grandmother was a beautician, and she inspired me tremendously. And I've always been a healer, someone who's an empath, so nursing was one of my passions. I did pursue it somewhat, but I stopped midway. I've always been the family's clown, the singer, the entertainer. So I don't know why I never aimed for that specifically, but it was in the background. My family was very traditional. So I chose conventional careers, so to speak, mirroring their lives. But I did always have aspirations of entertaining because I was involved in the arts all the time. I was Dance Theater of Harlem, Harlem School of the Arts, talent shows, Hal Jackson. So, but I never specifically said I want to be a singer.
So what was your first career choice?
My first career choice, what I did or what I wanted to do?
How about both?
The first thing that I did was customer service. That was what I did after school. I didn't really have a career, it was just a job. And that's when I formulated my path. It was then that I started doing open mic nights, going down to Sweetwater's, hanging out in the village, doing what everybody did, trying to be recognized. And that's when I realized that I had a gift because I was in church and it was just sort of accepted and taken for granted. And I got external validation, and that's when I started saying, this is something I can do. I'm good at it and I enjoy it. I was probably 20, 21, but I had children at that time. I had gotten married and I started having a family. So I had to be practical and it got put on the back burner.
At what age did you get married?
I got married at 19. I was raised in the church. I felt like it was part of the path to maintaining your spirituality is to choose a mate that was on the same page. And I married my pastor's son. There's another story packed inside of that. But long story short, no regrets. It wasn't long-lived. I grew up fast and realized that I had done it too soon.
How long did the marriage last?
7 years.
7 years?
Yeah.
So if you could look back at your 19-year-old self that was getting ready to walk down the aisle, what would you say?
Young heart, run free. It is not that serious. It never is. I don't know what you don't know enough at that age to make those kinds of decisions. I made life heavy for myself, and it didn't need to be that serious that soon.
All right, I'm going to jump off the subject because you made a point about making a very big decision at a young age, right? Now, you can say no comment to what I'm about to ask you because it's a little controversial.
Okay.
At 19, you got married, and you look back at hindsight and say you wasn't ready. What would you say for Dwyane Wade, who's about to let his 15-year-old son transition into a woman at that age and remove his penis?
The same thing. There hasn't been enough life lived to know. And that's it. That's the only thing I can say. Let them grow up and decide.
Right. Okay. So, would you say that music was your first career choice then?
I would say yes. Ultimately, my real career was music. I did things to get by until I really found my core desire and dream. And once I got going, it was just no turning back. I got lucky. And, like anything, it's a mix of talent, luck, and timing. And so I feel like everything happened at the time that it was supposed to. I needed to have those other experiences to have something to write about, to really kind of formulate who I was.
How far did you get in your education?
About 2 years into college, and I quit.
And what made you leave college?
I wasn't really school-centric. My family pressured me because they're all educators, high achievers. I was trying to follow suit and make sure that I did my part in upholding black excellence. I knew that it was an easier path to life, but it wasn't my passion, and I wasn't really academically inclined. It was work for me. So, you know, I stuck it through, but once I found the music, I felt like this was an easier path to change my family's trajectory, you know. I was exposed to different things that I probably would not have ever had a chance to be exposed to on a 9-to-5 job. Traveling, cultures, just understanding how other people lived and business worked in that industry it was like a closed door. So to be privileged enough to have that chance, it was worth taking a pause at school because I knew I could come back to that, you know.
Choke, no joke. You know what it is. Yo, y'all niggas better stay DL. Down low. Stop flossing, man.